Hello YouTube, this is Keith Kevin Ken. How you doing? How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Time again for another knife of the day. I know this is the third video in what, 4 days or so? If you haven't checked out the two videos that I just put up, you should do that. It's every single knife that Spyderco released in 2020. I'm recording this towards the end of July 2020. The first 6 months of Spyderco, every single knife, part 1 and part 2. You should go check that out. But this is the start of the last 6 months of 2020. Just got this in the mail today. I got 2 Spyderco knives. This is by far the best one. This is the new Spyderco Para 3 with Crucible's brand new CPM S45VN steel. If you're sitting there saying, didn't Kevin do this video before? No. The first introduction from Spyderco of Crucible's S45VN steel was with the Paramilitary 2. And you'll see that in those other 2 videos. But then they released the Para 3 that I just got today. It should be at knife stores, I don't know, next week or so, or maybe later this week. But I'm so happy to have it. Wanted to rush it to you so that you can get a good look at it and go to the stores and reserve one. The new Spyderco Para 3 with CPM S45VN steel and these great new scales. I've heard some people say, oh, I hate the scales. They haven't touched them or anything. Some people just hate new stuff. And it's funny coming from me, right? Because I know a lot of people do custom scales. I don't. I leave them just like they come from Spyderco. But I love seeing all the different scales and all the different Frankenstein knives that people put together. I spend more time watching that on Instagram and YouTube than anything else. I love it. I like mine straight from the factory. So I like to see the variations, and I'll tell you, it's good to see something besides just the plain G10, no matter what color, and just to have this, not only pattern, but it's a little bit grippier to me. And it looks great too. So these are the first 2 S45VN steel knives from Spyderco. Of course, S45VN is the new version of S35VN, which was the new version of S30V. People say, what's the difference? You know, it's an improvement on. Remember, S30V, which a lot of people go, oh, it's only S30V? Now there's so many steels have been introduced. But S30V is an all-around stainless steel. I mean, you need to keep it sharp, but it retains an edge pretty well. I mean, it's tough. You know, and then they upgraded it, S35VN steel. Remember, Chris Reeve knives, which you guys know I love. For years, they had S30V. Instead, in fact, people were saying Chris Reeve worked with Crucible to get S30V. Then S35VN steel, all of their knives have been S35VN steel since I started collecting. So I'm waiting to see when they switch over to S45VN. But a lot of this is not an exclusive. People have already released S45VN steels, but Spyderco decided to do their Made in America knives, the Paramilitary 2 and the Para 3, and to do it with the green scales. So when you compare it, let's compare it to the Paramilitary 2. Of course, you know the Paramilitary 2 is what we all were screaming for when the Paramilitary was out. And then Spyderco, of course, responded with the Paramilitary 2, and they used the compression lock on it. It wasn't the first time they used the compression lock, but it got very popular. And then we screamed, we need a smaller version of the Paramilitary 2. And so they introduced the Para 3, has more variations than any other knife. At least it may not have more variations than any other knife, but the variations came quicker than with any other knife. Of course, with the compression lock, they wanted to make it just a small version. Now, on the G10 version, that big lanyard hole, the Paramilitary 2, the military, the Para 3, the Mannix 2, they all have big lanyard holes. In this one, they kept the lanyard hole at the bottom. You see, with the Paramilitary 2, you could do that because it was bigger, longer, wider, and still have a way to put the clip that was deeper carry. With the Para 3, the hole is below the clip, so the clip gets pushed down. I don't have a lightweight in front of me on my desk, but with the Para 3 lightweight, they moved that hole over to the side and moved down the clip. They just never changed for the G10 versions of the Para 3. I'd like them to do that, actually. And then let's compare it to the Japanese version of their standard. One of the foundations of their Japanese line, the Delica. So there you have it, brand new, right from Spyderco, the knife of the day, the new Spyderco Para 3 with the brand new CPM S45VN steel and the new G10 scales. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications. A lot of knives coming your way. A lot of knives coming your way. I'm so happy to be able to talk to you guys and share this with you. Stay healthy. Take good care of yourselves. And keep those pockets full. Goodbye.